From the USA to Europe and into the Caribbean, all the world over, this is Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, keeping you inspired and informed.
Are you looking for delicious meals cooked to perfection from authentic Jamaican spices? At Taste of Eden Jamaican Restaurant, your taste buds will love the delectable, mouth-watering oxtails, curry goat, curry chicken, steamed fish, jerk chicken, and vegetable meals, freshly cooked and served by the loving, warm, and attentive chef and staff. Centrally located in Codman Square, 38 Norfolk Street, Dorchester Center, Massachusetts, you can get to Taste of Eden Jamaican Restaurant for your breakfast, lunch, dinner meals, and vegan dishes. Taste of Eden Jamaican Restaurant is open Mondays through Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Fridays and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed on Saturdays. We cater and deliver by Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash. Call 617-282-0077 or order online at www.tasteofedenjamaican.net.
Refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.
USA to Europe and into the Caribbean, all the world over. This is Caribbean Gospel Radio FM. Keep it.
Jesus. A pleasant evening to you. We want to welcome you to the program, The Law and You. Thank you so much for your patience. I had a little bit of technical difficulties back here. Oh, Lord, what a day it has been. But I'm so grateful that we're here. I want to welcome Nicole Scott and Evelyn Butler, who are bright and early this evening. You're in to hear what the attorney has to say. We welcome you. Thank you so much for being here. Pearlie Underwood says, having difficulty hearing the program. All right, so here I am. Good evening to you. We want to welcome you, Pearlie and Melrose Allen. We do understand that at times we have this kind of difficulty, all right? We'll be joined momentarily by the attorney and hopefully by other listeners who are coming in with your questions this evening. Her name is Georgia Lawrence, and she resides and practices here in Georgia in the United States of America. We're so grateful for her being on with us to answer our immigration questions, because I'm telling you, when you're trying to navigate your way through the system in the United States of America, the maze can go on and on and on forever. So we're grateful that attorney Georgia Lawrence is here with us to help us navigate our way through immigration issues. She'll be with us momentarily. Want to welcome Tara Ramsamouj. Thank you guys for coming on in. She'll be here with us for an hour this evening. So make sure that you have your immigration questions ready. I'm Dr. Monica, and you're listening into Caribbean Gospel Radio FM. We're broadcasting to you live from the beautiful, beautiful Atlanta in Georgia in the United States of America. Thank you again for coming on out. We want to welcome those who are using the iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows mobile gadgets. Those devices, thank you so much. Those that are with us listening in via online radio box, Nobex Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Radio Garden. We thank you so much. If you're at all on our page at www.caribbeangospelradiofm.com listening in today, we want to extend greetings to you and thank you so much for coming on board with us. Every day I love you more. Sound of Flavia Bradshaw Beswick. Giving you a little bit of music back here until we're joined by the attorney, all right? I hope you don't mind.
So can I believe in something I can't see it? Can't see the wind, but you know that it is there. Well, that is how I know that Jesus is near. There's nothing you can say that will ever make me doubt him. He has brought me through so many storms. So would you sing this praise forever? Oh, Jesus, you're the center of my life. Let me hear you sing, Jesus.
Want to take some time out to welcome Pat. Good evening to you, Pat. She says good evening, Dr. Monica, and to everyone else. Thank you, Pat, for coming in. Want to welcome Tara Ramsamouj. Good evening to you, Tara. How you doing, girl? Hope that you're having wonderful weather in your neck of the woods and that you are enjoying your day so far. To all my family and friends in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, good evening to you guys. Good evening. Oh, I want to send a shout out to my brother, D-Roy. Oh, Lord, from Gospel Live 365. How you doing, D-Roy? Medea. Melrose Allen, D-Roy, sending a shout out to you here, all right? Good evening to you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you there. D-Roy, may I get it up, may I get it up. There are a couple of things I gotta do, D-Roy. Look at this, D-Roy. Only you alone can understand what's going on here. My friend would say, adios mio. So tell you what, I got to go back to the drawing board and add some stuff, right, dear? Right? I'm telling you, I was so ready this evening. I got them all taken care of. Bam, I put it on here, and I'm like, where is Monica? I'm not seeing Monica. So I had to grab this one, you know, dear. Lord have mercy. Let me put a song on. Good thing attorney's not on yet. Nobody understand what's going on, D-Roy, but me, you all right? I'll be right back, guys. This is Stitchy. One of my faves. Do them no more. It's a beautiful Monday evening, and of course, it is time to ask those immigration questions. What is it that you need to know as it concerns United States of America immigration? Attorney Georgia Lawrence will be with us momentarily to answer your questions. All right?
Side of the road, me used to live by certain road code. If a boy pass him place and disrespect me, would a man fit tear off him clothes. But them behavior them me dash overboard. And the words of God are me sword. Well now me practice to be humble, me forgive everyone when me remember the patience I drove. And sing again, I will do them no more. I will do them no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do them no more. Some things I used to do, I will do them no more. I will do them no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do them no more. Hey, for too long me just couldn't wait. Certain things me have to see in a me plate. Well, if I kill them a beer, can it take long to make me miserable, terrible in a state? But through me heart, Master God penetrate, and them behavior them in a duplicate. Till the appointed time, that's how long I will wait. When me remember Father, you will faith, and sing again, I will do the no more. I will do the no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do the no more. Some things I used to do, I will do the no more. Where I've gone 45 and the rusty magnum. Well, if a boy try to this stitchy,
could you possibly rewind and come again?
Well, I will do the no more. I will do the no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do the no more. Some things I used to do, I will do the no more. I will do the no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do the no more. When me used to try the other side of the road, me used to live by certain road code. If a boy pass him place and disrespect me, would a man fit tear off him clothes. But them behavior them me dash overboard. And the words of God are me sword. Well now me practice to be humble, me forgive everyone when me remember the patience I drove. And sing again, I will do the no more. I will do the no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do the no more. Some things I used to do, I will do the no more. I will do the no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do the no more. Hey, for too long me just couldn't wait. Certain things me have to see in a me plate. Well, if I kill them a beer, can it take long to make me miserable, terrible in a state? But through me heart, Master God penetrate, and them behavior them in a duplicate. Till the appointed time, that's how long I will wait. When me remember Father, you will faith, and sing again, I will do the no more. I will do the no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do the no more. Some things I used to do, I will do the no more. Where I've gone bust the magnum. Well, if a boy try to diss teach under the sun, them defend that down to the ground. When me remember thy kingdom come, and me know say Master God will be done. Me rise up, wise up, me a wanna just son. When me remember Solomon wisdom, and sing again,
I will do them no more. Side of Lieutenant Stitchy, aka Lieutenant Stitch. Boy, D-Roy, man, I tell her, I gotta do this after the program. Woo! Want to take some time out to welcome each and every one coming in. Still waiting on Attorney to join us. She's running a little bit late, all right? But she'll be in. Melrose Island, good evening to you. D. Roy Bramwell. And those listening incognito. Don't you forget, you can email your questions to georgialaw21@gmail.com, all right? Send them to her. Do you remember the days when we would testify of these things? Lord, what I was, I'll never be that again. I remember those days of testimony when we would talk about where the Lord took us from without giving too much details, right? Oh my God. God really saved some of us, I'm telling you. Because the things that we used to do back then, we don't do them anymore. And that's how we know when some people are really saved. Lord have mercy, you wonder how they can do that. Brenda Grease, good evening to you. I will do them. Come on, Jesus. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do them no more. Some things I used to do, I will do them no more. I will do them no more. I'm a brand new person, brand new life, and I will do them no more. Brand new person, brand new life, and I will do them no more. Brand new person, brand new life, and I will do. All right, one of the things I won't do anymore is tell you that we're expecting the attorney to come in any moment because she is in right now. So hallelujah, I won't do that no more. Not for this evening. That's my testimony in Jesus' name. Amen. We got the beautiful Georgia Lawrence here with us, attorney at law, esquire, whatever you call her, wherever you're from. And she is on the screen right now. She is in. And we're going to get it rolling because we are a little bit late according to your timepieces out there. And we want to get as much from her this evening. Attorney, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you so much. I know you got a whole lot doing and you've been rushing through it. People don't understand what we do, you know.
Yes.
When our hands are tied and we got to rush to get to another appointment. So I'm grateful that you're in this evening. I don't mind the time. I'm just so grateful that you're here. Thank you.
I appreciate it, and thanks for having me as usual. Today was just back-to-back meetings. I was trying to get that client off the phone, but
one of those
days. Filing, the deadline is today, so trying to get it out as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, so it's all over to you. What are we going to talk about today?
All righty, perfect. So first, I'm going to address a few questions that I got over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And then today we're going to talk about humanitarian reinstatement. It's one of those things in immigration that a lot of people don't know about. So we're going to talk about that today. And yeah, pardon my manners. Good evening to all our listeners.
They've already pardoned you.
Yeah, I shared it on Facebook. So, good evening, welcome. Glad to have you. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop them in the comment box, and we will try to respond the best way that we can. And I just want to throw this out there. And for the next show, I believe it's on May 10th. We're going to do something a little bit different where I'm going to have some other people on with me, and we're going to have a live discussion surrounding immigration. So I'm going to throw some topics out there. If it's something that you'd be interested in, send me an email and we can get some information and have you on the show as well.
Wow, I love that. Ooh, I can't wait. That sounds really good. I love
Yeah,
that. Thank
so
you.
planning something for May 10th.
All right. Good.
All right. So the first question I got was following up last week's show about the F1 visa. Someone asked Dr. Monica basically, they want to attend a graduation, so they're going to try to get an F1 visa to do so since it's school related. The answer to that concern is no. It would still be a regular B2 visitor's visa because you're coming to visit. You're not coming for the purpose of being in school. So remember, we said the F1 visa is strictly for students. So you're coming to study in an academic program, normally for 2 to 4 years. So unless you're coming to like college or university, it's not an F1. If you're coming to attend someone's graduation, it would be a B2 visa. And then the other question I got is related to the petitioner dying while the I-130 or the petition, like as some of you may know, it is in process. What happens then? So that's what this show is all about. So I'll answer that question then. In the meantime, did we have any more questions, Dr. Monica, that you can think of right now?
No, not anymore. I know somebody just said, Valdine says, to God be the glory. I think of her last week. I needed to talk to her and couldn't find the information. Can I get her email, please? And so what I started to do is to put your email on the ticker so those that are watching, as it runs across the screen, they can actually see your email. And it's georgialaw21@gmail.com, right?
Yes, and I'm gonna start giving out the phone number starting next week. I'm just trying to find a way to screen the scam calls.
Okay.
And that's why I don't put it out there publicly, because I'm telling you, these scammers are at it. So
Get a Google number. Get a Google number.
See, even with that, you still have them calling it. So I have this app on my phone, Ring Central, that I use for other businesses where I screen the call.
Right.
So I
Okay.
don't have that problem because mostly I use this like for government officials, like if I'm getting a call from USCIS.
Okay.
So I need to find one for my clients where I can just put the number out there. So hopefully next show I'll have that. But for now, the email is georgialaw21@gmail.com. Or you can always connect with us on our Facebook page, which is Georgia Lawrence LLC, the name of the business, or go to my website, georgialawrence.com, and there's a contact me button. You can just fill in your information there and it will come straight to my email, and I'll get I'll see that, and someone from the firm will respond and set up a meeting.
So the Facebook is Georgia Lawrence LLC.
Yes.
And then what else you have? Did you give the website?
Website, georgialawrence.com.
Okay. All right. I'm making sure I add that to the ticker right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to dive right in. And again, I'm using 2 screens, so you might see me looking sideways. I'm not going crazy.
That's all right. That's all right.
So you have a lot of times where, and I'm going to try to get in as much information as I can. So again, if you have questions, reach out. So a lot of times you have cases where a spouse, a child, or some relative may file for an individual, and then unfortunately this person dies. And the normal procedure is that if the person who submits the I-130 dies, the petition is automatically revoked. So a lot of the time people will just stop it right there. Like they'll not try to go any further because, like they say, the petitioner dies, the petition is dead. So what immigration put in place, and I do believe USCIS has done a lot in terms of giving certain benefits, and this is one where I believe, as a matter of public policy, this is a very good, being considerate of people who are grieving, because can you imagine how hard it is knowing that you're grieving because your loved one dies, and then not only that, but you're now denied a benefit where you may be placed in illegal status, or you may not be able to stay in the United States because the petitioner dies. And sometimes it's very unfortunate. Like I have situation where um client dies, like it's untimely, where you have like certain car accident, on job related accidents, and it's unfortunate. So this is something good that USCIS actually put in place. So what we have are three remedies if this happens. So we have the survivor benefits for widowers or widows. So if your husband or wife dies while this is going through, even if it's before they put it in for you, you have certain benefits that you may be able to apply for under immigration. And then you have another category that's considered other benefits for certain surviving relatives, and they call this the 204L. So you'll hear a lot of immigration attorneys mention 204L. This is what they're talking about. And then you have the humanitarian reinstatement of an approved I-130 petition. So the question that I got is actually related to this, the humanitarian reinstatement. And I'm going to talk about all three differently. So the first one is the widow or widower of a U.S. citizen. And again, you must be a U.S. citizen for this one. So this one is actually the broadest relief of all three, and it allows that person to remain in the United States. And what they'll file is the I-360. A lot of people know this, for instance, if you're doing a VAWA application. So it's the same thing. You're just doing it based on a deceased spouse instead of an abused spouse in this case. And so the things that you must show for this is, one, you have to show a good faith marriage. So basically, we've spoken about this before. You're going to show that you really didn't get married for immigration purposes. So in the same way, you'd have to prove certain documents. If you're doing a regular marriage-based case, it is the same thing, where in the case of a deceased spouse, you're going to have to prove a bona fide relationship. And there are different ways to do this in terms of like showing certain documentations. A lot of people know about cohabiting and financial commingling, but there are other things that can be put in place too. And normally the law requires that the marriage have lasted at a minimum of 2 years before the United States citizen's death. And see, this was a requirement, I believe, but after 2009, it was removed. So this is no longer a requirement, because unfortunately, a lot of times you have a lot of marriages who that they don't even pass 1 year. They don't even pass 6 months. So putting the 2 years requirement, that can be a burden, especially in cases where, like we've seen in a lot of VAWA cases, where people are staying in abusive relationship just because of an immigration benefit. So this last provision was actually removed in 2009. So now it's just to prove that you're in a bona fide relationship. However, with this, while you're going through this process, and it's the same thing for VAWA, so we're kind of touching back on the VAWA application, you cannot remarry. So it's almost like you're saying you're still going through the grief process. So while this is pending, wow, you cannot get remarried. Like, yeah, afterwards you can, but not through the process. And thinking about it logically, it makes sense. Because if it's a case where, say, you remarry a U.S. citizen, it's a possibility you could get sponsorship that way, and you don't want to have like two different processes going on at the same time as it regards to a marriage. So it makes sense, well, to me at least. And there has to be, at the time of the petitioner's death, there can be no legal separation or divorce. So, say for instance, the petitioner, let's use today's date. The petitioner dies April 26th. Before today, it can if it's a case where one of you or your spouse went to the courthouse and tried to file any sort of paper as it relates to being legally separated or initiating any form of divorce proceeding, you will not be able to do it, because then that will be evidence that something was going on. They don't know if it was any sort of fake or whatever it may be. So USCIS will look to see if there was any sort of separation. I know a lot of times people start having troubles in their marriage, and instead of like working it out, well, I guess this may be a way of working it out. They may try to separate and they'll do legal separation. But in this instance, if you're going to go through the immigration process with reinstatement, it can be affected if you're going to file based on a deceased spouse. And then let me see what else about that. The widower applies as immediate relatives. Unlike other immediate relatives, they can also include unmarried sons or daughter under 21 in this application. And this is actually very good, because basically what it's saying is that, say for instance, a husband or wife dies and the wife or husband remains. The kids that are involved, they get to tag along on this. So this is actually huge, because not only are people under the presumption that the benefits will just die, but you not only get to revive the petition, but you also get to tag along the case. So this is good for families. And at the same time, the widow or the widower must prove that they're admissible. And when we talk about admissible, I think we spoke about this on a show before, where you're going to show that USCIS has no grounds to deport you, like you're not in removal proceedings, you haven't been charged for a crime of moral turpitude, and so forth. And there's a long list with proving admissibility. So those are the things that they look at when it comes to being a widow or a widower. Now, what they'll do is, normally when the application is in process and you reach out to USCIS, normally you just submit the death certificate. They'll automatically convert the I-130 into the I-360. So you'll have the same priority date, meaning the time that it was filed and received. So you're going to be at the same place in line. So it's not a case where when you alert USCIS, the process is going to start over. You're going to be at the same place in line. And there are certain documents that you should submit at this time, like same thing like passport size picture, birth certificate, passport page, I-130, the I-130 receipt, it will be in this case, and the I-360 application and other documents to show good faith marriage, similar to those that you would submit in the case of a marriage case sponsorship. So that is general overview for the widow or widower who is left behind when the petitioner dies. Bottom line is, you still are within your rights. Like, you can reach out to USCIS and the petition will not automatically die, and you'll be able to get benefits from USCIS as it relates to that. So if you are a widow or a widower, you're in this situation, you had a petition or you didn't have anything in process and you think it's the end of the road for you, well, tonight you learned something. If you know somebody who this information could benefit, go ahead, send it to them or send them my contact information and we can talk about it. You don't know, by sharing this information, how you'll be helping someone. So, all right, I'm gonna move to the second one, but before, let me check if I have any question on that over here on Facebook.
All right, while she's checking, I just want to remind each and everyone that you're listening in to the Law and you, and of course, with our beautiful attorney here today, Attorney Georgia Lawrence.
Refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.
From the USA to Europe and into the Caribbean, all the world over, this is Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, keeping you inspired and informed.
All right, we're back with Attorney Georgia Lawrence inside the program, The Law and You. Over to you, Attorney.
Alrighty, thank you, ma'am. So yes, we do have a question. I see Mr. Bramwell, welcome. Miss Allen, Andrew Browning, Marcia Dawson, Nicole Scott, welcome, welcome. Believe that's Valdine Turan. I see Gaynell is watching. Hey, girl. Who else? I don't want to butcher this name. Ameo? Musa? Welcome. I know I said that wrong. And then from Miss Scott, we have a question. Can a client be denied a visa due to have a chronic illness which might have been discovered during their medical screening? And the answer is it depends. It depends on the illness. And a lot of times what they will look to is how that's going to affect them being in the United States. For instance, if it's a case where they look at it and say that you are going to be, well, now that public charge is out, but they will still look at it. Like, you know, there's certain illnesses that make you inadmissible. For instance, if you've gone through the process of getting sponsored based on a spouse, you'll notice that in the medical, they'll test for like TB, syphilis, and stuff like that. A lot of people ask about HIV. No, that's not on the list. But there are different illnesses that are on the list. So as far as mentioning chronic, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I don't think that's I think that's a broad label. So I would have to speak with you specifically to see what you're talking about and see if it's on the list. But to answer your question, it depends on the illness. But yes, you can be denied if they're going to look at it as a problem. And this is just based on public policy, because at the end of the day, you have to remember that you're coming into a country that technically doesn't belong to you. So it's on a discretionary basis. So they can say yay or nay. But if you need more information, we can talk about this some more to see what that illness is. Alrighty, I see Shamar watching. That's my cousin. Hey, Shamar.
Hey, Shamar.
All right, so let's move on to the second way you can still revive that, what people call dead petition. And this is under 204I. So basically what it covers principal or derivative or beneficiary of a pending or approved I-130, like we spoke about earlier. So this is a case where it's not a widow or widower. Then we have beneficiary of a pending or approved I-140. And the I-140 is similar to the I-130. This is just in an employment-based context. So say, for instance, you come into the United States on, say, an EB-3 visa. EB-3 is for skilled workers. So you're coming in as a registered nurse, the job file for you, passed through the labor certification process, did all the recruitment, everything is in place. You're set to go to the embassy for your interview. You have that approved I-140. And then say the director of the nursing home that was hiring you dies. That person, say it was a sole proprietor in charge of the hospital, dies. Well, that petition essentially would die as well. But this provision allows you to still get the benefit of going and getting your immigrant visa or your permanent residency in the United States. So this is like a catch-all provision. And then you have beneficiary for pending or approved I-730. And the I-730 is the refugee or asylee relative petition. I think we'll talk about this after the next week's show, where we're going to have different speakers. So we'll try to get into asylum and refugee status. So it's the same thing where if the petitioner dies, the beneficiary can still benefit from it. And then you have the derivative or for T or U non-immigrant visa holder. And this is something I believe I've spoken extensively about on the show. So I want one of my listeners to tell us real quickly, what is the U and what is a T visa? I'll see how much y'all are really listening to us and learning anything. So question for the day, what is a T visa? What is the U visa? And try not to use Google. I'm using my Spidey eyes to see. All right, then you have the derivative of an asylee where the beneficiary has died. So let me use a typical example. Say you have someone coming in from Sudan. So they're coming here seeking asylum. You have the father seeking asylum. You have the mother, the wife tagging along 2 kids. Unfortunately, the dad passes away. The dad was a primary applicant. The family members would be the derivatives. Yes, they're still protected based on this catch-all provision. And again, this is something extremely good that immigration put in place to protect families. A lot of times, people will talk bad about the government or talk bad about the immigration system, but there are good to it. Like I normally look at it and say, when it comes to USCIS issuing certain benefits, there is good to it as well. So you don't just talk bad about it. And this is definitely one of the reasons why I can say this, because remember, before this provision came in place, it was a case where the petitioner dies, the petition automatically dies. Mm-hmm. So you could spend money, you could basically uproot your entire life saying you're going to migrate, change everything, quit your job, close your bank account, sell your properties, bam, the petitioner dies and you have to start all over. This is where protection is in place for you. Now, with this, with this one in place now, there is a residence requirement. So at the time of the petitioner's death, the applicant must be residing in the United States, and that's at the time of the qualifying relative's death. And residence is the applicant's primary residence. So it has to be a case where, say you have families living together. It cannot be like, oh, you're in Mexico, your dad is here, he was filing for asylum, he dies, you're gonna leave Mexico, come on in and claim this benefit. No, you'd have to be here as a child and you're gonna get the benefit based on this provision. And a lot of people doing so, they try to do it based on adjustment, but at times it is possible to do it to consular processing, but only if you had a temporary trip abroad. So like I just said, it's a case where you have to live here. But say, for instance, you went abroad, like you went to your home country for a wedding, a funeral, and you can prove that it was only for a temporary trip. Yes, you're able to consular process and get back in the United States using this provision. All right, well, let me see what else is on this. And for this one, you're subjected to the grounds of inadmissibility. We mentioned that before. And you do have, they definitely look at the public interest discretionary standard. This one is highly critiqued, where with most applications, what they'll do is see how this is in the public's best interest. So for these applications, a lot of times people try to like do it by themselves, but I'll tell you, like, reach out to an attorney and try to get them to help you with this one, because this one is highly scrutinized based on public interest discretionary standard, where they're going to look, okay, allowing this person to be in the United States, how is this in the interest of the public? And there are certain factors based on case laws that you can look at to determine this. And this law came in effect, I believe, October 28, 2009. Yes, October 28, 2009. So if it's a case where your petition was denied or revoked prior to this, you're able to get it reinstated. And that's what we call retroactivity. So you're able to go back before the law was in place and still get the benefit. So it's not a case where, oh, before 2009, so you lose the benefits. You're still able to get it. And so with this request, basically, what you need to show is, your biographical information, like name, deceased relative name, names of other beneficiaries. You include your A number if you have one. Your A number is normally assigned on any receipt forms that you've gotten or any cards that you've gotten from USCIS. You can see that A number starts with a capital A. Then you must have a copy of the relative death certificate. And they, in different states, there are different ways to get it. Like, I believe in Georgia, it's called Vital, I don't remember, but I know there's a Vital thing.
Statistics or something?
Yeah, like it's a website, like you go to vital.com or something like that, where you can get birth paper, death certificates, and there are other ways to get it. And I mentioned this because, see, a lot of times you have, say, for instance, dysfunctional family, I want to say, where people fighting over different things. People don't want to give up certain documents. So it's hard for you to get a hold of someone's death certificate if you need it. But with applications like this, you must present that, because really it's not USCIS job to go ahead and do investigation and find all this information, because essentially you're the one begging for the benefit. So it's unfortunate if you have to fight to get it, but it's one of those things that you must submit. And then you also have to show proof of residence in the US at the time that the petitioner dies. So you could get this done like the rental leases, home ownerships, utility bills, school records, pay stubs, affidavit letters. You could have certain pictures, have timestamps. Social media is pretty good for this, where you show when you post, the time, where you were at, who you were with, and so forth. So there are different ways for you to prove residency. Again, you just have to like think creative. Sometimes you don't have the information, but think outside the box and figure out what you can come up with, because the burden is on you to prove your proof of residency. And for this one, you must submit the I-864, so the affidavit of support, by a substitute sponsor. And this because, remember, the petitioner would have been the person to file for you. Now it's a case where this person is no longer in the picture. So you're going to have to show how you're going to support yourself. And we spoke about this in previous shows, where you can use bank statements, tax returns, pay stub, like everything adds up, but you must show a certain amount. And again, you measure that based on the poverty guideline, which is a chart uploaded to USCIS. So you look at the percentage that you're above the poverty line. So you normally match a chart with the amount of people in your household, how much you're making, and you'll see if this person qualifies to be your substitute sponsor. So that is the big thing for that provision. Let me see if I have any question. By the way,
You have
Dr.
to.
Monica, I saw your hair. You look nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Gotta talk. Where are you going?
Thank you. I just want to feel like I'm 20 again. You know,
Listen,
this 51 thing is not working right now. I need to be 20 years old, okay?
you're as young as you feel and you look. So
That's
you look
right.
nice.
Thank you
So
so much.
you could be 21 if you want to be 21.
There you go. I'm 21. All right, we have two questions here for you. But I heard you talking about timestamp on photos and social media. And there's some people who don't want to do social media. Google, if you use Google Photos is very good for timestamp. It will tell you exactly where you were
Yeah.
when you took that picture and whatever. So would that be an acceptable
Yeah, I
mode?
use it all the time.
Okay.
And even if it's a case where the timestamp isn't there, I print photos. I'll have my clients sign it, put the date on the back, tell me where they were, who's in the picture, and I'll submit a declaration with it. Because guess what? We have evidence in 3 different categories, either high, medium, or low. Even
Okay.
if it's in the low category, it adds to your application. And remember, one of the things that they're assessing for is credibility as well. So the more evidence you can show, the better it is for your case.
Okay,
So
good.
I don't care where you get the photos, we're going to use them.
Let's get him. Okay. We have a question on Facebook and we have a question on YouTube.
Okay.
Which one are you seeing?
I'm seeing the one from Emery Morgan. Hello.
Yes, Emery. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if a brother or sister who's an American citizen files for brother or sister, how long will it take for processing to be done to finally come through? Okay, so this is siblings filing. Yes, I seen that question. You mentioned American citizen. That's the first thing to know. Where only a U.S. citizen can file for siblings. Green card holders cannot file for siblings. And unfortunately, telling you how long it will take, that's not something I can do. It takes years. When clients come to me and they have like immediate needs to be in the US, this is like my last resort because I know it takes years. This normally helps in cases where you have a younger sibling in a foreign country and that person is finishing up junior high school, middle school, or probably even high school. You know, it would be beneficial for them to be in the United States by the time they start college. Then you can put in the petition when they're young. So by the time they're older, you know, it will be approved. But you have some countries, it's taking like 13 to 20 years. So it is a long time. And again, we can talk offline and specifically you can tell me the country you're talking about. We can look at the data, but for right now, I'm telling you, it's a long time. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense unless it's a case where you're filing for a younger child. So I hope that answers your question, Miss Morgan, and thank you for listening in. What's the other question?
Just want Miss Morgan, I'm sorry, just want Miss Morgan to know that she could email you at georgialaw21@gmail.com. Miss Morgan, you could go ahead, or Mr. Morgan, I'm not sure who it is. You could go ahead and email Attorney Lawrence, and you guys can talk further on that. You can also visit her website. I went there and I got answers to some questions that I didn't even think I could get answered to right there. So for those, not necessarily Emery Morgan, but for those of you who have questions as well, that's a very good place to start on her website, georgialawrence.com.
Yeah, and I do believe I have some information on siblings filing for siblings there. So yeah, you should be able to get some pretty in-depth information there as well, or links to the USCIS website where you can find more detailed information.
Yes, you did a pretty good job on that website. I'm telling you, that's my first place to go when I need information on U.S. immigration. That's my first place to go. Because even when I go to the USCIS, I could be in a maze, you know, jumbled all over
It's
the place.
normally complicated. Like even when
Yes.
people read the instructions, and you do have some smart people out there, they're able to navigate it. But I'm telling you, a lot of times you have to get into those CFRs and like try to figure it out. Like
Yes.
people don't understand. Sometimes behind the scenes, I'm doing readings all hours of the night
Night.
because
I know.
I'm more focused late nights and early mornings. So I'll get up and I'll read like
Late
hey
nights.
800 pages, just trying to like figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
summarize it, and that's why when I come on the show, I always tell people these are the highlights. So I'm trying to break it down for you the best way possible. But there's always more to it. You have exceptions, you have some nitty gritty you have to get into. Yeah, it can be a lot. So I understand if you say that sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly what is on the website,
And
on the USS website.
there's no one size fit all answer. So guys,
Yeah.
get in touch with attorney and tell her about your circumstance, your case, and she will give you an answer for that. Okay, our next question is, it says, is it possible that a child under 22 can be denied because his parents had applied while he was underage, but the process went beyond his 22 years of age and he was denied permanent residence? Thank you,
I don't
Nicole, for asking. Yes.
I don't understand the question. So
Let me see if I can break it down.
yeah.
From what I'm understanding, because I'm actually looking at it. Maybe if you were looking at it, you would understand. Basically, this child, the parents filed for the child while the child was under 22 years of age. Now the question is, the process went beyond his 22nd birthday. So I guess at 22 years of age, they still were not done with the process. Maybe USCIS was not done with the process. So she's asking now if that same child who the process started when he was a child, now being an adult over 22 years of age, can that child be denied permanent residency based on his parents' filing?
So the first thing is an adult is considered 21 years old, not 22. So if it's a case where the process started at 22,
No, it started before. That's what
yeah.
she was saying. But now the person is over 22 now.
Okay, so the date that they normally take into consideration is the date at the time of filing. So if the filing was before the child became 21, then there may be an argument to do some sort of appeal or try to get that case reopened. But if it's a case where it was done after the child became 21, then it would be a different filing. So I'll be happy to talk to this person and see exactly what was filed and when. But the age is 21, not 22.
All right. So I hope you heard that. Take advantage of it. Call attorney. Did I say attorney? I'm here thinking about.
Not with you.
This is a new word this week.
Every week we have a new word.
Please call attorney Georgia Lawrence. Please call. Please, we're gonna need a dictionary by the time we're through. Please call attorney Georgia Lawrence, or email her so she can get some specifics regarding this this case that you're talking about. All right, whether you're asking for a friend or you're asking for yourself, please get in touch with attorney. All right, back to you.
I have, they're clients, aka cousins, in this case where the father is in the United States, been in the United States. I think he's now probably a citizen, and 2 kids. And one, I think he's 22, and the other, he's about to turn 21. And we were trying to figure out the best way to go about filing it, looking at the times and so forth. And I was thinking, like, if it's a case where Because, when you're assessing the situation, you kind of look at it in a way where you're trying to get everybody in. So, okay, this child gets in. How is the mom going to benefit? How is the mom going to benefit? How is the other siblings? How will they benefit? So we had to work it out where it's the case where the dad files for the child that was about to be 21. So his priority date was in before he turned 21. Child got his green card. No, after his 5 years, applied for citizenship. He was able to get his citizenship, applied for his mom. After 1 year, the mom got her green card. The mom was able to file for her younger kids. So that way you could get everybody in. While at the same time, the older child that was over the age of 21, his petition was in, but it took longer. I think it took, let me tell you because we did it in, let me see, 18, 19, 20. So it took 4 years. It took 4 years, and this was in Jamaica. It took 4 years for him. So in a matter of like 5 years, we were able to get in. Two sons that belonged to that father, the ex-girlfriend, and her 3 kids. So I said, I would like to talk to this person because there are ways of doing it where everybody could tag along and you do it the proper way and in a way where you're using the less amount of time. So just contact me off air and we can talk some more about it. And I see that we're past 8, so I'm really trying to wrap up. I know I was late, so I do apologize. So let me try to get this in. And then the last provision is the humanitarian reinstatement. And I mentioned earlier that over the weekend I got 2 questions. The second question was actually related to this. And the answer is humanitarian reinstatement. This is the one a lot of people don't know about. A lot of USCIS offices, they don't really care for this. This is totally discretionary. There isn't even a form for it. There's not even a form for it. And this is where your persuasive writing from English language or comprehension class comes into place. Because what you're trying to do is to basically say to USCIS like, hey, the person who was sponsoring me died. Unfortunately, this is what happened. You plead your case, and then you're gonna say you still want the petition. You still want to be able to use the petition. So you're trying to revive the petition essentially. And all this is really a letter and supporting document. And like I mentioned before, you must submit a death certificate. Now, with this, there's certain case laws. So there are a list of factors that we use. And I, for one, when I am drafting these letters, I go to these factors in the first place, and we have like a template that we normally use. And the first thing we focus on is getting those factors out in order to convince the officer who will be reviewing the application that this person deserves a chance to be in the USCIS, even though the petitioner already dies. And for this one, you must have a substitute sponsor as well. And the substitute sponsor must be a United States citizen. So that can be challenging because a lot of times these people, the only person that they really know is probably the petitioner, or the only person in the family that probably can even have enough resources to complete the age 64 and do any sort of sponsorship is the petitioner who died. So unfortunately, this is where a lot of people, they just give up and leave it alone. We have different ways of trying to like look how best to get you sponsorship. Now, I can't sponsor you, but we have ways of like looking into your family situation to see different assets or what we can combine to make it work for you. So that's just my way of saying, if you're in the situation or you know someone in this situation, don't just leave the petitioner there and the petition there and say that, oh, the petitioner has died, so I'm just going to give up on this. And going back to the factors that we look at, the first one is the impact of family living in the United States. And this can be US citizens, permanent residents, or even people who are just here in the United States once they're in a lawful status. So it's not a case where you're just looking at US citizen or green card holders. You could also be looking at, say, F1 visa holders, people on the R visa, farm workers. As long as you're here in a lawful status, USCIS can consider how this will affect that person. And then you also look at advanced age and health concern. And this actually goes back to the question that was asked earlier about illness. If it's a case where, say, for instance, you had a son and the son died and the mom is trying to come in, and the mom is, say, 79, 80 years old, they may look at it and say, this person is going to be a burden on the system, because, you know, with age, sometimes that triggers health concerns too. So these are all things to look into. And then you have ties or a lack thereof into the home country. So if it's a case like I mentioned this before, where this person was dead set on coming to the United States, they sold everything, they gave up their life, and they're ready to move. Once you're able to prove that, you can show them, like, listen, I was ready to come next week, and then this happened. And they may be able to, like, look at that and grant you the benefit based on that. And no one factor really weighs more than the other. It all depends on how you boost your application. And then you have other factors such as unusually lengthy government delays. Like, this is always an issue with immigration, unfortunately, something President Biden is trying to address, and we're still hopeful. But you can say, for instance, you put in the petition 5 years ago, and it took them 5 years to look at the petition, and right at the point when it got approved, that's when the person died. So right there, you see an intent on the part of the petitioner to still sponsor this individual. So that's something that they may look at too. And any other factor that weighs in favor of the reinstatement. And we have read through a lot of case laws, and we've picked out certain factors. We've seen what works, what doesn't work. So again, it's a case where we do thorough interview with our clients and just figure out their story and match whatever facts to whatever factor may be in place. And that kind of leads me to this, like, a lot of times, because I do 15 minutes free for consultation, and then afterwards you pay $100 and you get a whole hour free. And sometimes people say, like, oh no, I just want to talk to you for 5 minutes. And I may say, like, no, it's not going to take 5 minutes. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you really have to listen to that person's story and figure out what they may qualify for, or how certain things may impact their case, in order for you to know the best course of action to take on their case. And this is a perfect example when it comes to the humanitarian request. Like, a lot of times, most of the legal fees in this case actually goes to taking the time to sit down and interview the clients. Sometimes it takes a conversation where we're just talking about a whole bunch of stuff. And from doing that, I'm able to get the information that I need. I have one right now. I believe it's in the Phoenix office, and I'm really praying that this one gets approved, because I have spoken to this young lady so much, and I feel very sad for her. The way that the petitioner in her case died was very unfortunate, was near and dear to her heart, and it would be in the best interest of society for this woman to actually be in the US to, like, fill the gap for her son. So I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I'm still praying, because, you know, it's discretionary, so you never know. So again, if you know someone who is in this situation, share this video, tell them that you've heard about these 3 things that they may be able to use to revive the petition, and you never know how it can how you'll be helping someone just by sharing this video. Alrighty, I see that I'm already 15 minutes over time.
Awesome.
Let
And
me
you
see.
got 2 more questions. You're 15
Yes.
minutes. You
All
think you can
right.
take any more questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
And then I'll try
Welcome
to
each and everyone. I have mine first, but I'll wait until last. I'll take Nicole's.
Okay.
She's asking, how likely is it for a refugee client who was refused permanent residency, appeals and files on humanitarian grounds, and gets accepted as a permanent resident? A permanent resident, rather.
Yeah, that depends on the fact of the case. If you it was filed based on humanitarian grounds, and I'd have to look into it and see. I don't want to throw statistics out there because again, each case is different. So that depends. But I'll be happy to talk to you, Nicole. So you have my email address. Just reach out, say, hey, it's Nicole from the show, and we can talk some more about it.
All right, attorney. I think you're gonna take your final question now. Now I want you to go. I am not expecting an answer tonight.
Okay.
It might be something you can think about for the next program, but I wanted to know. I know in Jamaica, bringing people here, the process that I'd have to go through with the I-130 and the whole shebang. Now, the UK, specifically England, say I have somebody in England that I wanted to file for to come live here. They are not citizens of the UK, but they are equivalent to what we would call permanent residency. I think theirs is called the ILR or something, but theirs is equivalent to our green card holder. So I wanted to know what are the laws surrounding that? How can we get them? Is it a whole different process for them since they're, I don't know, like they're allies or something?
If
I
they're
don't know.
lawful residents and they're permanent in the UK and you're trying to get them in the US, it would be the same procedure. Like there is no them being a UK citizen doesn't exempt them from going through the process, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, these are not citizens though. They are just what we would call permanent residents.
Yeah,
They got
so
their
it would
papers.
be the same. It would be the same procedure. The only difference
Yeah.
is that on the form, when they ask about residency, you may include that UK information, and you may have to show how you're there lawfully, like on what grounds. And like you also have questions about citizenship, which in this case you're saying they're not UK citizens, so it would be citizen. They would still be a citizen in their home country. So that's the information that you would indicate on the form.
Okay, so if they're Jamaicans with permanent residency there, I will be filing for them because they still have the status of a Jamaican. Okay, got it.
Yes.
You're the best. You are the best. Hey, guys, if you got immigration questions, go to the best. Her name's Georgia Lawrence, and you can find information on her website at georgialawrence.com. You can find her on Facebook at Georgia Lawrence, LLC. You can email her at Georgia21. Did I get that right? At gmail.com.
GeorgiaLaw21@gmail.com.
I knew I messed up. GeorgiaLaw21@gmail.com. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. And you can just say she's on every second and fourth Mondays. So please send her your questions ahead of time so she can come. And if you can include as much information as you can, then when she gets out here, she can be more specific. She's not going to call names, so don't worry about that. All right?
I won't call your name. I remember the next show we have, we're trying to make it more interactive. So, hey, send me your information if you want to be a part of the show, and we'll talk some more. And as always, if you have questions or concerns, reach out. Go ahead and share the video. Like Dr. Monica's program.
Yes.
We are here to serve.
Thank you so much, attorney. I know you've had a long day. Go wind down, put your feet up, whatever you need to get done. And as always, we appreciate you.
I still have work to do, but I'm going to try to relax a little bit. But thank you and have a good evening.
Thanks. You too. We love you. Take care.
Thank you everyone for listening in. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.
I want to say thank you so much for coming on out tonight and supporting the program, The Law and You, with attorney Georgia Lawrence. We're getting ready to get on out of here myself, so just want to say thank you.
I shall not be
Closing out with this one from Junior Tucker, JT.
down and die.
I shall not be moved.
I
Be persistent, all right, guys? Whatever the problem is, whatever the issue is, be it immigration.
lay down and die.
Reach on out to attorney Georgia Lawrence.
Be shaken.
She's more than happy to help you. Thank you so much. If we didn't get to your questions this evening, just know that we're here second and fourth Mondays for you as it concerns immigration law. I want to say good evening to Veronica A. Gale. Good evening, Veronica. Oh, Valdine, I didn't see this. Didn't see your comment, girl. Thank you. Nicole Scott saying she appreciates you, attorney. Thank you. Here, Valdine says, yes, she is the best. Nobody gives information like her. That's my girl right there. Attorney Georgia Lawrence. Thank you, Victorine George, for coming in. Let me kick this one back from the top just for you this evening. I hope that you'll find some time to simmer down on this Monday evening and enjoy the rest of the evening. If you gotta go take care of some meal or something, then do that. And I want to caution you, just be positive. Positivity is a great medicine. All right, let me kick it back just for you because I too want to enjoy this track before I run on out of here this evening.
Lay down and die.
Could you possibly rewind and come again?
Lay down and die. I shall not be shaken by the arrows that fly. Of this one thing I know.
I hear Nicole asking, Doc, it's finished already? Attorney has had a long day today. And she's been in meetings back and forth and all of that. And that's why she could not make it in at 6 o'clock. She came in at 7 and she was only able to do an hour. All right? So please keep her in your prayers because she's a mom, she's a wife. She's an attorney and you know how it goes. Attorney, we take on everybody else's problem. Well, I wasn't an attorney, but I was a legal secretary. And I know how that can be, all right? So let's keep her in our prayers and hopefully the next time around, Nicole, that she'll be here for a full 2 hours. All right, girl? If you have immigration legal battles, this is my prayer for you. That your victory will come to you.
Shadow of your wings, and as my soul runs after you, I know your right hand will uphold me. Yes, it will. So I shall not. shall not be shaken by the arrows.
It is a time to encourage yourselves.
Of this
I'm encouraging mine. How about you?
night turns into day.
I'm coming over there, Nicole. Stick and stay, girl. JT. Hey. Shout out. Run the track. I shall not be shaken. So, Miss Say.
Of this one thing I know, it's night turns into day. My victory is only a prayer away. Oh yes, I shall not be moved. No way, no way. Lay down and die.
Na 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 na.
I shall not be shaken
By the arrows that fly.
Oh, well, this one thing I know, it's night turns into day.
Ouch.
My victory is only a
Prayer away.
oh yes, Lord, you are my present help, and I will rejoice in the shadow of your wings. And as my soul runs after you, I know your right hand will uphold me.
Want to see what Nicole and I are doing? Head on over to www.caribbeangospelradiofm.com.
I ain't going no
Come on over, hit live chat when you get on over here, all right?
more, 'cause this one thing I know is night turns into day. My victory is only a prayer away. Oh, yes. Lord, you are my present help, and I will rejoice in the shadow of your wings. My soul runs after you. I know your right hand will uphold me. Will uphold me. So don't you ever move. Don't you lay down and die. You don't have to be shaken by the arrows that fly. This one thing I know is night turns into day. Your victory is only a prayer away. Oh, but this one thing I know, as night turns into day, victory is my Jesus will find a way. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Somebody testify. I don't have to worry. I declare it now. Come on. Can I get a witness? I shall not be moved or lay down and die. I shall not be shaken by the arrows that fly. Of this one thing I know, as night turns into day, my victory is only a prayer away. I shall not be moved, lay down and die. No way. I shall not be shaken by the arrows that fly. Of this one thing I know, as night turns into day, my victory is only a prayer away. Oh yes, I shall not be moved. No way, no way. I shall not be shaken by the arrows that fly. Oh, well, this one thing I know, as night turns into day, my victory is only a prayer away. Oh yes, Lord, you are my present help, and I will rejoice in the shadow of your wings. And as my soul runs after you, I know your right hand will uphold me. Yes, it will. So I shall not be moved. Lay down and die. I ain't going nowhere. I shall not be shaken. Yes. By the arrows that fly. Oh, 'cause this one thing
JT is the name, and I'm telling you, ain't no game in all of this. Your victory is only a prayer away. Woo! I ain't going nowhere, man. You think I'm gonna give up that easily? Lay down and die, what? Nah. No way. Talk to me, JT. Woo! Want to send a shout out to Annette Nash. Good evening, Annette. Valma Strong, good evening to you. Woo! I could jam this song for hours, you know that. Woo! That's my jam right here, man. As a move, don't you lay down. Don't do it. Be shaken. Woo! Lord of mercy. Whoa! Can I kick it back from the top one more time? Woo! Victory is around the corner. Don't give up. Don't give in. Woo! This is the after party. After the law and you, my attorney, Georgia Lawrence. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on out this evening. I'm going to be on out of here momentarily myself. I'm just loving the vibe. Angela Quinn. Good evening to you, Angela Quinn. Nicole Williams, thank you, girl, for being around. Woo! This one thing I know, tonight and today, my victory is only a prayer away. Oh yes, I shall not be moved. No way. I shall not be shaken. Nicole Scott ordered a pull-up on this one. This one thing I know. Lord. Nicole, which one you want? Do you want a pack of a pull-up, girl? It's time for my friend Nicole. She's with me at www.caribbeangospelradiofm.com. You want to see what we're doing? Come on over. Hit the live chat when you get on in, alright? And you'll find us. We're in a room over here. Oh my God. You gotta come see it, alright? My victory is only a prayer away. I shall not be moved. Lay down and die. No way. I shall not be shaken by the arrows that fly. Of this one thing I know, tonight and today, my victory is only a prayer away. Yes, he is. Victory's only a prayer away. 21 minutes going up to 9 o'clock, and this is where I'm going to be leaving you tonight. I'm so glad that you are here with me, and I want to say thank you so much. Here's my final song. No Longer Slave to Fear. Golden McFarlane is the name. Enjoy this one as we get on out of here tonight. It was a pleasure being here. I'm loving every bit. Come dance with me now.
You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies till on my feet is gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Oh, 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 from my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Your love has called my name, and I've been born again into a family. Your love flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, but Jesus! I am a child of God. You unravel me with your melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies till on my feet is gone. I'm no longer a slave to
Can I take a moment to tell you about an affordable place that will educate, equip, and develop you into a leader that will impact the world?
a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Oh, 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 from my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Your love has called my name,
Hallelujah. It is good to know that nobody else qualifies you being a child of God other than God himself. Woo! By the blood of Jesus Christ, we were made heirs of salvation and joint heirs with Jesus Christ. I love you lots. This is Dr. Monica saying, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. I'll be back here tomorrow, God's willing. We have a new program that's coming up. Tomorrow is the debut. That program is going to be on once a month, just once a month. And it's based on the book, I Am Ready. I'll be facilitating, but the host is going to be Bishop Dr. Paul A. Ricketts, the author of the book, I Am Ready. Man, you got to be here, all right? Women, come on in and eavesdrop, okay? It's going to be steaming hot, man. You might need something cold, like a cold beer. Ginger beer. It's going to be steaming hot tomorrow night. We cannot allow the kids in, all right? This is adult-only stuff. Starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Don't miss it. I Am Ready. That's the name of the program. And I'm Monica. I'm ready. I hope that you are too. Until then, take care. What good. Bye-bye.
From the USA to Europe and into the Caribbean, all the world over, this is Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, keeping you inspired and informed.
When you see I gotta come back to say hello, Trevi Cassidy says I'm here. Trevi, you're in and I'm out. All right, but I just had to come back to say hi to you, Trevi Cassidy. Thank you for peeping in on us. Bye-bye, guys. Love you lots. Until we meet again.